Groovy.
Shotokan karate is a blend of cultures. Okinawa, where karate originated, is strategically situated between China and Japan. And what they did in having to fend off both those countries was to learn from their different fighting styles. The Japanese had the samurai, so the sword tactics and strategies were adopted. And the Chinese were big on watching how animals fought and imitating what they did. So they used all their limbs. They would kick and use their body much the way the animals did. So the Okinawans, being in the center point of those two cultures, blended all of these things together and formed what they called karate. Karate was empty hand. They were overrun and taken over by the Japanese because Japan needed Okinawa for its own defense, and they disarmed the population so they couldn't resist very well. But they learned to use their farm tools. Nunchucks, tonfas, sais were all farm tools at one time, and they found they made great martial weapons as well. So what they then did was to take those away, and they used the same body movements, but used their bodies as the weapon. So if they didn't have a spear, they could have their hands toughened up so they could penetrate. They could use their fists as clubs. They could use their feet because the Chinese influence was so great. So they kind of melded all these things together and formed a way to fight when they didn't have a weapon. Shotokan is the pen name of Gichin Funakoshi. Gichin Funakoshi is widely considered the father of modern karate. In the past, it was a clannish, tribal thing, and they were very secretive about what they taught each other. They would never teach everybody everything. Only their Ichiban, the #1 student, learned all the real fighting tactics. What happened was that karate was illegal, just like they banned the weapons, they banned the farm tools, they banned the use of karate. They weren't allowed to train, but they trained in secret. And again, it was very clannish. The father and uncle would pass it on to someone. In 1922, they finally got to do a public demonstration. You can tell the times were changing. They weren't as oppressed as they were. And the Japanese officials who witnessed it were very impressed. And they asked Gichin Funakoshi, who had done the demonstration, to come to Japan to teach them. But he consulted with his instructors, and they gave him permission. And he went to Japan and built up the Japan Karate Association. He was actually welcomed into the Judo Hall, which was unheard of because the martial artists are very one-sided. They don't want anybody else interfering with what they're doing. But he was invited in to train in the hall, and they actually shared ideas and shared techniques. So from that position, he decided to send it out across the rest of the world. And he actually sent people to the United States and worked with our armed forces. The Air Force and the Army and Marines all had instructors from Japan by way of Okinawa, who came over and started instructing our military personnel in the art of karate. The main focus is really to be a better person, to use the karate to control yourself first. You can't control yourself, you can't control an opponent. So the main focus of karate is to train so that you don't have to fight. Our egos get in the way sometimes, and people say things to us and we think we need to fight. But through the training, you find out that it's just as easy not to fight. You do so much fighting, and technical training that it's not that big a deal anymore. You don't have to be too concerned about it. So our main emphasis is to be a better person and to avoid fighting.